Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Immergence Show. I'm your host, Nico Farah, and today we are diving into one of the most critical conversations in the entire tech ecosystem. Who really owns the future? Our guest, Christopher Swenor, is a builder, a technologist, and a true visionary who builds the current venture capital fueled model for blockchain, who believes that this current venture capital model for blockchain is fundamentally broken. He's here to share a powerful alternative, one built for fair distribution, real-world utility, and a radical new model for governance. I'm also joined by a great co-host, Carl Cleanthes. He's going to help us flow the conversation, and the introduction to Chris came from him as well. I'm so grateful for that. Over the next hour, we'll explore why Chris thinks communities will eventually fire their VCs, and how he's building a community-owned network from scratch, and even look at a case study of how this tech can be used for financial inclusion in emerging markets. Get ready to have your assumptions challenged. Please get your questions ready. Tag a friend or colleague who needs to hear this in the chat. And let's give a warm welcome to both of our amazing guests. Hi, how are y'all?
Doing amazing.
Thank you for being here.
Also doing well myself.
Awesome. So let's start with Carl. You've been on the show before. I would love you to do a quick intro, and then we go to Chris.
Sure. I am Colorful Carl Cleanthes. That's my artist moniker. I'm a crypto enthusiast first and foremost, which is probably most important on this particular show. But I am a CEO and founder of Epic Made. We work in advertising and gaming, basically making video and brand assets, all sorts of content on that level. Then I'm a live streamer and digital artist myself. So I do a lot of content creation and make cool NFTs on Chris's blockchain currently. So we'll talk about that more in a little bit, I'm sure. So.
Love it. Thank you so much. Chris, go ahead.
Well, it's nice to see you, Carl, again. I'm actually good friends with Carl. I try to sneak on his live stream every once in a while. But my name is Chris Swenor. I started off as a software engineer many moons ago, I think over 25 years now. But I've been in the crypto space, blockchain space since 2000 and started collecting tokens in 2013, building since 2015. Done everything from building layer 2 scaling solutions to entire blockchain development platforms, including our own programming language, compilers, deployment tools, everything there. Launched a decentralized exchange, built up a gaming platform, and most recently have actually launched a community-focused, community-owned layer 1 blockchain, which hopefully we can talk about a little bit here. But yeah, what I like to say is, if you cut me, I bleed blockchain. I truly believe that blockchain is one of the technologies that can level the playing field.
Hear, hear.
You're muted, Nico.
Nico, you're muted.
Okay, try again. The challenges of live. I was going to say that, Chris, I would love to know how you got into blockchain. What was your, initial, understanding, and then how that changed and evolved, and then, became what you believe in now.
Yeah, I got into blockchain because I have a lot of friends that are jerks. And what happened one day is that this is back before blockchain. I was working at a SaaS company, and I went to lunch with my friend. He said, "Oh, I forgot my wallet. Can you buy it for me?" I said, "Sure, no problem. You're gonna pay me back?" He said, "I'm gonna pay it back." Week goes by, he doesn't pay me back. I said, "Hey, you're gonna pay me back?" He's like, "I'll pay you back." I'm like, "Seriously, if you don't have to pay me back, don't tell me you're gonna pay me back if you aren't going to." He's like, "I'm gonna pay you back." Another week goes by. I'm like, "Seriously, don't worry about it." He goes, "I'm gonna pay you back." And so like that later that day, I get an email that says, you have received X number of Bitcoin with a memo of for lunch. I'm like, I have no idea what Bitcoin is. What is this thing? So I go up to him and said, okay, well, what, like, why did you pay me with this thing? Couldn't you just give me money? He's like, it is real money. And at that point, I started really digging deep into what Bitcoin was, what it's good for, how it works. And then every year after that, I send him a copy of that email to show him how much money he paid for lunch, which is a lot of fun. This is all the way back in 2013. But in 2015 is when I seriously got made it my life's challenge is in 2015, because that's when the idea of the world computer came out. Not just decentralized currency, but a decentralized platform, a way to actually build a trustless, immutable applications that you could cut out the middleman. And that's when my head exploded. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
Wow, really fascinating. Go ahead, Colin.
Oh yeah, I would love to know the approximate value of that lunch at $110,000 of Bitcoin.
Right. I think it's not that much. I think it's close to $8,000.
Yeah, so no big deal. Just the mortgage at the restaurant
Right.
for a month. Yeah, that's
Right.
great.
Amazing. So I'm curious, Chris, throughout your entrepreneurial journey and working for other companies, before you get into blockchain, what were some of the learnings and aha moments that kind of helped you shape this new perspective that now you have with your current organization?
Wow. So many. Well, there's a couple things. Number one is the understanding that just because there's a lot of scams and a lot of people out there trying to do one over you doesn't mean everything in it is bad. This was a much bigger issue back in like 2017, 2018. Scams were galore, and it was very difficult to tell anybody that was in crypto because everybody just assumed it was for scamming people or for buying drugs or whatever. And one of the things that I learned is that a lot of the scams, a lot of like the crazy advanced gambling is what I like to call it. A lot of those protocols that were built, a lot of the knowledge was gained actually can be used for good as well. It's a lot of like the current DeFi came out of a lot of like the learnings from back then. So that's one thing. The other thing that I learned is that not everybody that uses blockchain or crypto actually cares about blockchain or crypto or what the benefits of blockchain and crypto. They care about just making money. They don't really care, or they don't want to know about blockchain. They just want to use it, and if they make money, or actually a lot of times people that use it and want the benefits, but they don't want to know that they're actually using blockchain. So that's another big knowledge over there. And then the final big thing, which I think we'll probably talk about a little bit more, is that everything in blockchain today is open source. Not everything. Most things today, most good blockchain stuff is open source, and that means that it's free to take and relaunch and do what you wish for. A lot of the money that was actually spent in the early VCs was spent on building this, but now that value is gone because it's now free and out there. And the true value of blockchain are the communities, are the people that are built on top of it. So when you have like the true value of blockchain as the communities that don't own the big chunk of blockchain, you have an issue there. Because what happens now is that if the community, the people that are making the thing valuable, don't actually own it, I like to look at it as debt. It's like they have to pay off that debt of the early investment to actually truly own this decentralized thing. And what a lot of people don't realize now is that if the community, the people that are true value, just relaunched the same network with the same people running it, they could own 100% of the network, or 100% of the actual the liquid supply, and have so much more to actually invest in the future, and cut out all of the early investors because they're not adding value anymore. So like that's one of the things where I think a lot of people don't realize that's kind of where we're at. So those three things. I'll probably go on and on about all the things, because I've been doing this for a long time. But those three things come to top of my head.
Really, really interesting perspective. You know, I've been a part of DAOs, and I have had my own DAO, so I'm very familiar with these pain points, and the common kind of frustration from the community that, you know, like, where is our effort going? And there's some people that just put in the money and then, you know, their hands off, and we're doing all the work and day-to-day stuff. So it just totally makes sense and resonates with me. What about you, Carl? What has been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to touch on the first point about, you know, scams and grifts, like we've had to deal with a lot of that, like, and it's becoming less taboo now that people have made a bunch of money and they've seen things actually come through here and be functional. But yeah, early on, it's like, you know, it was like Russian money laundering and drugs and like whatever, but like that was never really the use case. Like it was always about what we've all been trying to build now for the past, I guess I've only been in since about 2021, but yeah, the community is everything. And that's absolutely it. Like if you don't have the community behind it, like the value goes to nothing quickly, because the people that are in for all the wrong reasons, they don't care. They just want to get their money and do a rug. They'll pump it up and get excited about it, get all their friends and family to join. It's basically just another level, it can be used as a tool for a Ponzi scheme. And we've seen that, but somehow it got branded as that, as an entirety. And it's just a tool like anything else, like AI, like Web 1. Like when Web 1 hit and everyone's like getting emails from their lost uncle in Africa that left them some estate, like this was a standard, right? We just had to learn how to educate each other on how to protect ourselves from these scammers, and really encourage the builders to bring value to the ecosystem and to the technology. So, and that's what Chris is doing with his entire community, and it's amazing. I've been a part of it recently now, I'd say for a couple months, and what they're doing over there is just so cool. I love it. I'm just excited to be on the voyage with them, if you will.
Love it. I would love our audience to know a bit more about this community. Like, what is the main mission, or, you know, values that you guys have? Like how it was in the beginning, how has it evolved?
Yeah. So really, like the whole thesis of Voice started with what I just kind of talked about, is that if the technology is already bought and paid for and free, and it's not being fully utilized, the true value is the community itself. The true value is what the community builds on top of it. So why not launch a network using the existing best tech, reset the actual economics, make it so that 75% of the entire market cap is actually put in the hands of the community, not earmarked for the community. Like a lot of people say, like, you know, 40% is for the ecosystem, but yet the foundation controls what the ecosystem means. But the idea is to actually to put 75% of it completely in the hands of the community, and set up a governance system. So one of the things that you guys hit on, which is I guess the fourth thing I've learned, is that for the most part, people are pretty lazy when it comes to governing and making decisions. Not everybody, of course, but some people are. So what we wanted to do was actually build a true governance system that allows for people to be lazy or not be if they choose not to. So what we did is we structured the entire VOI community governments with executive, judicial, and the legislative. Where the legislative, you have people that are elected in, they represent the community itself through delegation of stake. Those people then vote on proposals. So all movement of those tokens are actually voted on, and they meet every single week. Everything is transparent. All of the meetings are recorded and put up there, so you can watch every single meeting. There is meetings for the committee meetings for like DeFi and the Voyager DeFi, the committee meeting, and then the Builder committee meeting, so that people can come in and talk about and then communicate with their delegates. So built an entire government structure with a whole constitution and everything to make sure that it is governed appropriately, and it's still good. It's still improving. It's still getting there. But at the end of the day, this is a layer 1 blockchain that the community is actually in charge. I don't have a say anymore. I'm one of the person that launched it. I don't have a vote. I mean, I have stake, of course, but that's as far as my vote goes. I'm not one of the delegates. And so this is what blockchain should be. It should be actually ran by the community, because if the community is the one putting the effort in, which we have new stuff building every day. We just one of my favorite builders just launched a website called ibuyvoy.com, which integrated the new Coinbase onboarding offboarding tool to automatically, through credit card, be able to buy, or through anything, buy and get Voy into your wallet in completely the most seamless thing. And then we have people building DEXs, we have people building NFT platforms, and they're the ones that should benefit from it. And they're the ones that should actually own the chain, not some just early investors.
I love that you put your money where your mouth is on that, right? Like that you're not like, oh, we should all do this. And I've got $1 billion over here for me. And I got, 51% controlling stake. Like, no, you said, I'm going to throw myself into this. This is what I believe in. And now we're making it the right way. Like, so kudos to you. And that's why we hit it off. So.
Yeah, but it's going to be slow because we didn't raise tons of money to dump into marketing to tell everybody, to the moon. This is like a government. It's like we started in an island that people on this island are actually working and adding value and creating value. And, like within time, this is how you make a lasting product. And because we took existing tech that is already great, we didn't have to spend money on that. We got to spend time and effort into building on top of it, which is nice.
Very interesting. So if as a founder, you're kind of hands off, did you have any contribution in setting the values, like the foundational aspect of the organization? Like if there was someone out there that wants to do something similar, what are the responsibilities or considerations from the founder perspective?
Yeah, so I had an amazing team of four other people that helped me get Voy up off the ground. And so we all had a very heavy hand in all of the actual mission value, is because we also wanted to build quick and get it out there, and so that it could live, and then more from there. So we worked together to launch the actual chain. All the technical aspect of the initial nodes, we put on all of the actual work to make that happen, and the constitution. And the advice I would have to say is be community first. Like when you're making decisions, try to make decisions that are two-way doors, not one-way doors. Meaning that if you walk through it, you can walk back through it. Don't make so many decisions that once you walk through it, you can't ever go back. And because you will make mistakes, you'll make a lot of mistakes, but don't be afraid to make those mistakes. And be transparent about everything, because the community will be much more forgiving of your mistakes if they've seen the entire process along the way. If you make a mistake in a black box and somebody discovers that mistake eventually, you will lose all faith in your community.
Amazing. And Ian and Chris are saying it's very smart, and they agree. Very good. I'm curious, so how does the incentivization model work? Is it that you're kind of counting or measuring the contribution based on the outcome? Is it based on the hours? Is it based on the votes? Like, again, how does this kind of system overall work, or what have you found helpful?
Yeah, so it's slow and intentional is how the actual process works, meaning that the governors, the actual the council members, which in about 40 minutes we'll have today's council meeting, they go through and everything is submitted by a proposal. So community members say, I will do this. And there's both retroactive and proactive grants. Retroactive grants are given out based off of the value added. It doesn't really matter how many hours you put in; it's how much value added to the actual chain. And then the council members meet with the committee or the community decide, like, how do you feel about this? Is this good or bad? And then they vote based off of what they believe. And but yeah, it's 100% the proposal process goes through. The council actually votes on it. Once the council votes on it, and then it moves up to the executive, which is our foundation, the president of the foundation, and they are the checks and balances. So if the council for some reason voted to give themselves a huge raise and it's out of this world, the president could veto it. But the only way that any token can move has to be through proposal. Like the president's, the executive can't actually move tokens themselves unless they went through the proposal process.
And how did you guys choose the president, and why did you not become the president?
Well, the reason why I didn't want to become the president is because regulation reasons, number one, making sure that we have a separation of everything there. But number two, I didn't really want to be, because I want to separate myself from the actual creation, because I think that me becoming the president ends up creating too much power. And because I was one of the founders and now also the president, now it kind of feels, too lopsided. So by standing up, giving over to the power of the actual government and backing away, I'm allowed a voice, don't get me wrong, but literally no power. So like if I say I want to do this, and this, or do that or everything, they all hear me, and maybe I'm too loud sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to decide which direction they want to take the chain, because they're putting a lot of effort in.
Makes total sense. And I think it all goes back to the fairness of the founder. Like, you have the realization to understand this is like too much or, too little, but like not all founders have been thinking that way. So I'm glad that you're making these right decisions. Cool. Let's get into some of the questions we have in the chat. Felipe is asking, what happens if the DAO community votes for a proposal that you as a founder strongly believe it's a terrible idea for the long-term health of the network?
Oh, I am a loud voice that has no power. So what I do is I will go back and I'll actually write out an entire document of like, why I believe it's a bad idea. And then I send it to the council members, say, listen, this is why I think this is a bad idea. But if it's still voted through, it's still voted through. There's, like I am a community member. Once again, I totally understand that I have probably more weight as a community member because I'm at every single meeting. Me and my team came up with the idea of a boy, but at the end of the day, if I don't like it and it still goes through, it still goes through.
Makes total sense. Carl, feel free to jump in as you feel like makes sense.
Yeah, I just think it's important to note like the level of integrity there, and that's huge, and that's what you're looking for in founders and in communities, right? Like, transparency and integrity are what's going to take these away from scams and people being uneasy about them, to people like, oh, I want to put my money here, put my time here, put my energy here, build cool shit together.
Right.
Awesome. Next question from Shada. What is the biggest mistake you have made so far in building this community, and what did you learn from it?
I would say the biggest mistake so far were doing things that other chains did because it's the right way to launch a chain. And the reason why that was a big mistake is because we are not launching a chain like how other people are doing. So like one of the things that we did is that we ended up going with a market maker that was a very popular market maker, not a scamming market maker, but the way that they do things was more in the for a blockchain that raises hundreds of millions of dollars, and how they trade and how they market make ended up not being good. Doing any type of marketing themselves, like right now, like a big thing that's a lot of blockchains do is they hire influencers for marketing, and that once again makes a lot of sense. If you're just going to dump tons of actual money into it, and you have the liquidity to actually to prop it up, but it's not a good move when you're actually trying to build something like grassroots from the start. It's the best. So like I would say that's the biggest mistake, is doing things that other people have that have done and been successful, um, when we aren't that type of chain. So that's I would say the biggest mistake.
Yeah, basically being authentic and understanding your circumstances is more important than just following what everybody else does. Cool. And I would love to know more about the projects that you guys have done. You mentioned a few. Curious if the type of the projects that your community does is any different from what we see in other communities just because of its structure.
Well, I would say there's a lot of the similar things that are being launched. I mean, of course, because you need infrastructure, you need decentralized exchanges, you need onboarding tools, offboarding tools, you need wallets, you need all of these things, and our community has built all of those things and have done a great job with it. One of the big focuses that we are doing, though, as a community, is we're working more towards the user experience side of things. I know a lot of people are going that direction, but they like the mission, the vision is a blockchain that you don't know that you're using. And we're getting really close to this. So, I'm actually tomorrow. I'm going to get a demo that hopefully that we can show out. But the idea is that you'll be able to connect any wallet, no matter which chain that a wallet is, and convert into the Void token, all seamlessly behind the scenes, and use the actual Void token without and it feels like a web page, and the nice flow to go back. Like that is the dream, where you don't actually know you're using the blockchain. When you're clicking around, transactions are being sent off, but you don't. It's not a bad experience. So I'd say that's one of the big visions of the chain.
Love it. And if you can explain, please, since like we lost Carl, but if you can explain a little bit about how the onboarding works right now, in terms of like, you know, Shadi is asking how can people basically join? Is it by buying the token, or is there a specific thing that people need to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. The community is made up of a lot of different types of people. That yes, there are experts, but there are also people that don't know anything about tech. There's people that don't know anything about marketing. It requires everybody to come in. And one of the things I've always said is that if um, if we were actually as smart as what we think we are, blockchain would be much bigger and further along than it is today. We need new people that haven't been in the space to bring their own ideas on what it actually should be. So if you're not in blockchain yet, or not in crypto yet, don't be scared. Don't think that you're too late. We actually need you to be able to achieve what the goals of blockchain actually are. And yeah, just, you know, if you go to void.network, you can actually see the community. We have committee meetings 3 times a week that everybody's invited to. People show up. You can find these community meetings on the website. The council meeting it's not open to everybody. Actually, I think it is. But not a lot of people come to the council meeting, but the council meeting is recorded, and you can view it to see what was talked about, the proposal process, all of that stuff. But yes, everybody is welcome, and new people even better.
Love it. Yeah, I definitely.
And of course, you can buy the token as well. That's another thing you can do.
But it's not required, is it?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, you should want to, but you can also earn the token. You should earn, because if you're adding value, you can do proposals you can become part of it just by putting effort in.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, this definitely makes sense to lower the barriers because, blockchain had its moments and ups and downs. So it's helpful to remove the barriers, lower the barriers, and bring more diversity. Awesome. This is really cool. And hi, Ian. He joined us as well. And Carl will be back soon. He had some technical difficulties. And yes, I think he's back. Hey, Carl.
Sorry about
Can you hear us? No worries. No worries. Cool. Do you have any question, Carl, before I move on to another question? All right. So Felipe has another question. How do you prevent a concentration of power within DAO Legislative Council over time, even if members are voted in?
Great question. And so what it is that we have it's like a two-tier system. There's being voted in, and then the power that those people that are voted in have. People that stake in the network, meaning actually running a node or running running a node with because it's a proof of stake network, they delegate that power to one of the delegates, and that delegate then votes with that power. But if that's there is a period of time that after the vote that a delegate can actually pull their power from, or a person that delegate the power can actually pull the power away, so that they no longer actually have all of that power. And then the other thing to prevent concentration is limiting the amount of tokens that go into the wild over the next 20 years. So the idea is that there will be more tokens going out over the next 20 years through proposals, through node rewards, and everything of that sort. And you can actually, one of my favorite websites, I also am biased because I'm the one that built it, is watch.voy.network. And it is a snapshot of all of the wallets of the entire governance system, and all of the buckets, and what the release schedule are, how much actually tokens are left, all of that stuff. And you can see that all the wallets are in the green, meaning that they're all following the rules. So transparency is super important.
Totally. And you touched on a little bit on, bringing diversity. I'm curious, what do you think is preventing this mass adoption for blockchain? Is it the tech has been too complex?
It's user experience. It's not even a question. It's silly to expect mainstream users to actually give a dang about the technology. They should only have to care about the benefits of it, and the benefits of it all have to actually outweigh how much the user experience change, the behavior change, if you will. So as soon as blockchain becomes not visible, not actually in your face, as soon as things happen behind the scenes, you'll see a lot more adoption, and that is because there's a paper out there. So some simple economics of blockchain that I recommend everybody read. As a research paper that talks about what the true value of blockchain is, and it lowers the cost of the overhead or of verification, of validation. So what you're going to start seeing is that things will be cheaper, things will work better. It's just that those benefits have to outweigh the behavior change or the UX change, and we're not there yet. But once that scale is flipped, blockchain will take over.
I mean, I saw you're seeing this a little bit behind the scenes now. It's like even Pokemon, I think in the past few months on Pokemon Home, like some of the assets and reward systems they have now are literally blockchain assets. No one knows that. You can't tell that on the front end, but like they're setting themselves up to go, hey, how do we have true digital collectibles, and how does no one need to care about how we're doing that and keeping the technology straight and keeping people from stealing and hacking and all those sort of things. And blockchain is simply the best solution for that, which is what Chris is saying there. So it's pretty exciting.
I'm jazzed.
That's awesome. And I think that would be a great segue into what you're building now, Chris, outside of what, maybe share a little bit about what you're building and how it's different, maybe the user experience even.
Yeah, so this is still really early, and there's actually a couple of things that I'm pushing forward. But the thing I was talking to you about when we originally started talking is that uh, is RWAs, real world assets. One of the things that you'll start seeing more and more is tying ownership on chain and then making that ownership programmable. Because it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that it lowers the cost of verification. Now, when you can actually show provenance, you can actually show ownership in a very easy way by just looking at a snapshot of a ledger, which is the blockchain. Um, it's really easy to now have much more liquidity over those assets. So one of the things that I actually was doing a lot of research into is being able to tokenize commercial real estate in the United States. Or United States commercial real estate, tokenizing not the full thing, but like a portion of it, and that's yield generating, and then using the blockchain to actually track the ownership of the equity or the debt, and then selling it to or offering it to people in South America. Now, the reason for this is because people in South America don't have as many investment opportunities, investment vehicles as people in the United States or in parts of Europe. And so there's number one, it allows them to a new type of investment, be able to generate yield on, say, a data farm or a apartment building or something of that sort. And also it being denominated in the US dollar, which as they already do by buying dollars and just holding dollars to actually hedge against inflation of their own currency. So this is buying real estate assets in the US dollar, so that it kind of does two things. So that's one of the things that I was looking, and there's a lot of opportunity for that. But yeah, I think that's a huge opportunity. The only downside of that is that it's a long process, like, because you need to make sure that you're doing everything right through regulations, making sure that you have the correct partnerships set up. But at the end of the day, a user should just be able to buy pieces of whatever and not have to really think about signing the tons of paperwork, because you don't need all of that paperwork because of the mutable tracking of the blockchain.
That is such an interesting use case, and definitely providing more access and inclusion. That is great. And Ian is saying, but also people won't even feel like they're adopting, simply being. Yes, that is true. And so what are you marketing it as? Are you marketing it as a blockchain offering?
Why?
Or like,
Yeah, when was the last time you saw a application market their NoSQL database? Like it's a silly thing to actually market. The only reason that you would ever actually market anything crypto or is purely to tap into the hype machine, which, it's a bull market, so it's like we're going to see a lot more of that now, where people are going to say, X on the blockchain, because that's
right.
what happens. I've been through a lot of these cycles, and it happens every single bull market, where it's like, oh, we're going to build Uber on the blockchain. Like, okay, well, how about just building a better Uber? But really, that's one of the big red flags when I hear somebody come up with an idea, is that when they start talking about blockchain in the first, 5-10 minutes of what their product is, like, I don't care that it's blockchain. I care how you're making the world better.
That is so true. Yeah, if you can't do it without blockchain, why would you try this making complicated stuff? Awesome. And Chris is asking, how do we expedite education of people from different income backgrounds? It's a challenge onboarding all spectrums currently. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, the way that we're looking into it is cutting down the personas to more manageable chunks. It's like, when you have a big old burger in front of you, you don't put the whole thing in your mouth because you'll choke on it. But you take small bites at a time. So what you do is you find a smaller segment of the market. Yes, you can probably take a bigger market, but when you take a smaller segment, you have the ability to tailor the education to that segment. And that is the only way that you can really train anybody anything. So, but behavior change and education is hard. But if you tie it to something that they're already used to, it becomes easier.
That makes total sense. Carl, why don't you tell us about your project that you're doing on Voy, or any other blockchain project that you found helpful or exciting?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so my project on Voy is just a continuation of what I've been doing. So I live stream every Wednesday night, give or take, as my life has the space for it, but pretty consistently for the past over 3 years now. So I take old art from my father and then make new art live on YouTube and all the different platforms. I record those on YouTube and have that archive of me making each new piece of art, and then as I mint them to a blockchain, that recording's in the link of the metadata. And I have 3 now on Voy. I'm probably going to mint. I have 70 pieces I've created over the past 3 years. I started off on Ethereum, but it's just there's a lot of the gas fees and a lot of things on that level. Just it didn't feel special over there to me, right? Like I wanted to build this properly on something that I was really proud of. And Ethereum is great, and I love Ethereum, but like it's very mass market. And so I looked at Voy and I met Chris, and so now I've been over there minting NFTs. I've got 2 out that are sold, and there's 1 I have for sale right now. But basically, yeah, I'm just minting 1 NFT at a time over there. I'm letting the community determine what the price should be and the resale value and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm just like asking them and like interacting, and it's fun. So I've been going on their spaces. There's a guy, Taco Coin. Shout out to Taco. He's a big builder on the Voy network, and he helped me kind of onboard. And it was just really exciting to me, Greg, because I've been through minted NFTs on early on Mint on what was it called? Mint base. I forget the token name, but and then I've done everything on Ethereum, and I had my first big collection launch there. And now over on Voy, it's just really cool because every single platform, like when I go to their OpenSea, right? Like the one I use there is Nautilus, I believe, right, Chris? And so there's actually someone in the community who made that, and like I can give them feedback and go, hey, like I like how this works, could we do this and add features and do, like, it's always an evolving thing, and the people that actually built the things are accessible, and then all the transparency's there, everything's still immutable, you still have all the securities and protections that you would expect on any blockchain, because it's set up, like Chris said, on that existing technology. Just now they've made a new one that isn't owned by venture capitalists and people that dropped in millions of dollars into the ecosystem and just sat on it, and they never needed it. Now they're sitting on billions of dollars of Bitcoin. That's just not fair to the community, right? So I think that this is really cool, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So right now, if you collect 10 of my NFTs, you get a free commission from me. So whatever you want that to be. And also, if you buy the most recent NFT, you can select any of the existing artworks in my portfolio as the next NFT to be minted, and then you get to determine the price of that NFT. So I'm just trying to build up this thing with the community, slow and steady, like Chris said, and it's been really fun so far.
There's a Twitter space every night of the week by a different community member that's you can go on and talk to real community members that have been doing this. So you don't have to listen to me. I mean, I'll talk to you anytime you want because I love talking, but you can talk to the real community members there. Shout out to, there's a new project that was announced yesterday called DorkFi. It's going to be a full lending platform that was based actually around one of the NFT communities, but the founder of it paired up with some developers and some other community members to build out a lending platform. And they just actually launched they announced yesterday because they incorporated. So like they're putting a lot of effort and going into it. So shout out to DorkFi. I'm sure somebody in the community is watching this from there. So you guys rock.
Wow, really exciting stuff. It feels like a family. People know each other, support one another. And that's what we need in this day and age. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Carl. And I'm curious, Carl, did you look into the voting system as well, getting more involved in the decision-making processes, or you're still observing and learning?
Or are you one of the lazy voters?
100% transparency. I am overcommitted on way too many things. So like, I'm happy to be a part of the community and contribute in the ways that aren't taxing for me, that seem like, okay, like I can add this little thing here and be a part of this and attach myself to it. I love the idea of that. And as Chris was talking about, I was like, man, I'd really love to do this, but like I'm in a phase right now. It's like where, I help run the Graphic Artists Guild National Board. I have my agency, Epic Made. I have, the Colorful Carl brand. I have a son and a backyard homestead. It's like, I can't, there's limitations, and I'm accepting that in my middle-aged idness at this phase of my life. So at some point, I think I will get more involved for sure. I think right now I'm just happy to contribute on the art side and help kind of pump the community up. So,
I mean, this is exactly my point. You are the majority of the people that, like, people are busy. People actually, like, they have lives. They're doing things. So setting up a governance system that works when people have time is the best way to set up a governance system.
And that's the automation in the decentralized, autonomous organization. Awesome. So I would love to hear, Chris, if there's any other project you're working on. You mentioned this RWA was just one of them. What else is exciting that people should pay attention to?
So the other thing that is really early. So this is super alpha for everybody. But one of the things that I'm actually looking at into the world is actually casinos, because there's a lot of like bad things happening in casinos right now, like so far as actually non-transparency and also no opportunity for the regular person to actually participate in the upside. So I've been looking in actually ways to use the blockchain because I don't personally gamble, but people do. And how can you actually make that better? How can you actually make it so it's more fair? And where I'm actually kind of going with it, and the research I've been coming up with, is it's more of like a casino co-op, where that the community gambles, but the also community provides the house as well. So that and keeping everything on chain, so it's all transparent, it's all above board, exactly what's happening, and the money flows back and forth, and anybody can provide the house earnings. So that's one of the things that I'm doing research on, because I don't want to start going all in unless I see there actually truly is an opportunity out there, because there's only so much time in my life that I don't want to build something that isn't super awesome. So I'm seeing if there is actually an opportunity there that can actually make the world a better place in this thing. So that's the other thing I've been looking at.
What an interesting idea. Yeah, definitely. We all have noticed the challenges and, lack of transparency, as you mentioned, in that space. Very interesting. Awesome. And I'm curious, what have you guys thought about in terms of AI incorporation into the organization? Are you guys using any of the generative AI tools to make things better, make things more automated?
Yeah, I think the things with AI is you have to be careful with it. And the same way that you have to be careful with crypto. The part where you need to be careful with it is cramming it where it doesn't belong. You're going to see a bunch of companies that are starting, and they're going to say AI this or automated this or agent this or whatever, because it is the thing that people are excited about. And the reality is, cramming it where it doesn't belong will make a product that doesn't actually like work. And it goes back to the whole don't worry about how it's actually made, but how is it making the world better, and are the margins smaller because you're using AI or whatever. And that's the key thing that people should promote and push. But yeah, I mean, AI is used everywhere, from building products to helping with documentation to I personally just thinking about this the other day is like I actually subscribe to 4 different AI subscriptions at this point. I'm like, why do I have so many? But like, because they're all better in a different way. And so like I go over here for one, I go over there for another. And I think more and more people will be using AI more for tools to make their lives better and their jobs easier. And we're not quite to the point where um like, yeah, that's kind of where I see AI is that people being more efficient with their time at getting things done than necessarily actually building out tools that are just AI everywhere. But there's room for both.
Totally agree. Thank you for sharing that. Felipe is asking if a brand wanted to build Envoy, what is the process for them to propose a project and potentially get co-funding from the community treasury?
Yeah, just go to void.network. And you can see in there, go to actual funding, build with support, and you can see all of the actual process of getting a proposal. But what the process is you fill out a proposal template, fill out a form, it gets submitted to the council. They assign a council member who then meets with you to really figure out if you're legit or not. If it's been actually thought out, that kind of your champion. What I like to say is like it's their job to make it a yes, and not be a gatekeeper. Like that's the kind of like the culture that we have here. Is like, okay, we're not gatekeepers, but we're going to actually work with you to tweak your application to know that it'll get how to actually get through. But yeah, that's the process. You have to worry about sweet talking me because I don't have any sway. So go through the actual real process.
I love that. I was involved in another DAO, and the process was basically making campaigns and talking to everybody because you didn't know who is actually the decision maker. And then they would tell you not to DM us, not to message us directly. So it would be just like so confusing. Okay, I'm not supposed to talk to people directly, but I'm supposed to promote it. But like, I don't know who is the decision. Like, oh my God, such a chaos.
I mean,
but yeah,
jump. If you have an idea, jump on one of the spaces at night and talk about it because there's going to be community members there that actually care. There's most likely going to be council members there. You get to talk to them directly and they'll give you direct feedback on if they think it would be something that would be approved or not.
And what would you say right now the community is interested in if our audience wants to try getting involved?
The number one thing that's every council member asks the question is, how does this increase the traffic? How does this increase the demand for Boy? Like that is the big thing is like how is this going to actually, it's much more about not the cool thing you're going to build, but how are you going to get users? Like how many users do you think that you'll have? How are you going to be sustainable? What's your plan for actually being successful? And honestly, a lot of the proposals are being baked into the success of the product and not just the building. So if you have an idea of something you want to build without a plan of being successful, that's not a good project. But if you have a plan of saying, okay, I know that this will bring real users that we don't have to pay for, because what a lot of people do is they'll be like, okay, yeah, give us the tokens, and then we'll pay our users to use the product. You're like, okay, well, that's not a product then. So I would say that is the main thing is if whatever your idea is, don't think about building a product because of Void. Think about building a good product and using Void to make your product better.
Yes, and then have the product market fit like any other product that will be successful.
Exactly.
That makes total sense. Thank you. And Benedict put the link. Thank you for sharing that.
Benedict is one of the other founders of Void. So he's a amazing guy. He's actually the one that ended up writing the white paper overall. So he's very, very awesome guy.
Beautiful. Thank you, Benedict. And Ian is saying, well, the other side of this is fractional luxury rental on chain, fractional anything really. The abilities to hedge unstable is key. Any thoughts on that?
I agree. I think fractional anything, not anything, but most things. I think that's anything that you actually need to prove that you own something. I mean, you don't need to prove that you own a donut because you're going to eat it soon. But you know, art or collectibles or houses or anything that you're like, okay, I mean, even for warranties to actually prove that I actually own this monitor could be on chain, and the cost of overhead would come down because it is a immutable ledger to prove, yes, I actually have ownership of this thing.
I think it makes luxury goods more accessible, luxury investments, high-end investments, right? So like there's times and spaces where you can't really invest $20 or $100 or whatever you have into things because they're so big. So when there's fractional investing, that's also really helpful.
That's
when
right.
it's not just stocks, right? Like there's all sorts of ways that could be applied.
Yeah. So if I could say something real quick for all the people actually watching, if you truly believe in blockchain and you truly believe that community is the most important, boy, there is no better place than Voy. And you can talk to the community people because like they're already in Voy about this because they're the ones actually building it. So it's no longer a pipe dream. It's no longer, oh, we're going to be building this, because it's already out there. It's already working, and it's amazing. I'm so proud of what the community has done so far.
Amazing. I love it. And I would love to get to the predictions and wrap it up. But before that, just quickly, you've been through a lot of hype cycles and things have shifted a lot over the years. What have you seen kind of improving overall? Like, do you see the perception is getting better from the masses, or like other things are improving? Like, what has been the observation you've had?
The thing what is better is that blockchain is becoming more accessible. It's not there yet. We're still a long way to go. But it's way different than it was 7 years ago. And the closer we get and the more accessible the blockchain becomes, the bigger it will be. Like right now, honestly, I think that Bitcoin is the only thing that truly is accessible at this point to the mainstream users, and it's only accessible as like a store of value, and people are actually seeing it as this way, and that is bringing up the rest of the market. Not the rest of the another piece of the market doesn't have value itself, but it's not as close to the people, not as close to actually the people that are using it. And as you'll see is that it'll grow, and then people will start using Ethereum, Solana, Voy, and you're going to start seeing a more adoption of the general blockchain platform, which I'm really excited about. And then I think banks getting involved. So like this is one of the things like they're like, oh, well, we did blockchain crypto to get away from banks. Okay, we did blockchain crypto to take the rails away from banks. We made that so that everybody can actually participate, but banks are amazing middlemen for the people that need the middlemen. So if you need custody, if you need all of these things, I don't like, a lot of people don't, but there are people that want to not have to worry about saving their keys. The banks can participate and use the blockchain, but as long as you have the ability to participate at the same level as these banks, that's why blockchain and crypto is great.
It gives people actual financial sovereignty over their own money, right? Like I've tried to pay a contractor in France like a year or two ago, and I literally had to get on the phone and talk to my banker and tell them why I was sending money overseas and blah, 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 this whole rigmarole, like they were my parent. And then it takes them like a week or two to process sending money overseas. And then the currency exchange changed in that time. And like he got less money than I was trying to pay him. It's like, this is, and they're closed on the weekends for some reason because ones and zeros don't transmit over the ocean over the weekends, even though I can video chat with my friends in the Philippines. So, it's just bizarre. I think it's antiquated the way it works. So they got to catch up or they're going to get left behind, right? They've got to jump on board in some fashion because as it gets easier.
They will.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money will go.
100%. It follows the money.
Right.
Love it. And as we are getting towards the end, what are the predictions you have for the future? What have been not talked about that you're excited about?
Honestly, the thing that I am most excited about is the world becoming more fair. That you don't have to be born in a certain region or a certain area with the correct connections, and where anybody can be born anywhere and have the same opportunity. And it's not necessarily it's going to be it might be harder for them to do things because they're further away and learn things of this sort. But if they have the opportunity to compete, that is what I'm most excited for. And that's what I think blockchain brings, is that it removes the need for those middlemen companies that are the gatekeepers, and allows for anybody to participate at the true core bottom level of the world economy. And that's when things get really exciting.
Love it. Awesome. And as we are kind of closing out, this was such an insightful conversation. I learned so much. I'm excited to go check out Void.network, where people can find you, Chris, and Carl. How can people support you personally, professionally?
So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Chris Swenor. So just at, and then what you see on the screen here. But you can support me by drinking whiskey with me. I enjoy that. I enjoy good whiskey. But yeah, just, cheer us on. Come join the actual Void community, Void.network. Join the spaces at night to talk to community members. Come actually add value and earn returns from the actual value they're adding. But at the end of the day, it's really just truly about making blockchain what it was meant to be and owned by the people that are adding actual value.
Well said. Carl?
Yeah, 100% love what Chris said there. You can follow up with me pretty much anywhere on the internet. I'm at Colorful Carl. I dropped a link to my website as well. And if you want to get involved now, this NFT is for sale on the Void network. So you can go to iBuyVoid, get you some Void. I think it's listed I think it's like $45 US equivalent right now. That value will go up tremendously over the year. So huge opportunity, no better time. But no, seriously, to be a part of the community, it's amazing stuff. And we're really happy to onboard new people that are passionate about crypto.
Amazing. In case he wants to have some whiskey with you.
I'm always for it. I'm always up for it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Chris and Carl. This was awesome. So much new ideas and insights that you guys shared with us. And thanks to our amazing engaged audience, Casey, Ian, Chris, Benedict, Felipe, Shadi, Shada, Jean, and Ritika, and everyone else who has watched, just didn't comment or will be watching the recording. We're so grateful for you. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode. Thank you so much, Chris and Carl. I'm looking forward to engaging in your communities and be in touch. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.